Format, the beginning of design. Hello, my name is Lana Grover, and today we will be discussing the concept of format as it relates to design and visual communication. Format acts as a foundation for design elements and principles. All designs have to exist somewhere. That defined parameter and the area it encloses is what we refer to as format. Whether the design application is on a printed page, it's paint on a canvas, or it's viewed on a screen, the format is the frame that holds the design solution. Format also provides visual control, making it possible for a designer to manage composition. Composition is the structuring of design elements within a format. Now let's discuss different shapes of format and some of their specific characteristics and associations. Horizontal format is a prolonged rectangle in a horizontal direction, and this format is sometimes referred to as landscape format. Landscapes are one of the strongest associations made with the horizontal format. Long horizontal lines mirror the length of a format and open up a more expansive peripheral view. Horizontal formats are also associated with conservative and stable concepts that remain fixed like the long baseline of a rectangle format. A quiet power can be found in the horizontal format as it reflects a state of rest, calm, and stability, much like our own experience of being at rest when we lay horizontally. The potential weakness of this format is that it could be considered boring or visually static, meaning with little or no movement or lacking visual excitement. Remember, a potential weakness could always be made into a strength if it's used properly in the context of your visual message. Each format influences the design elements which are placed within it, which in turn defines the visual movement of each composition. For example, in a horizontal format, horizontal elements appear powerful because they have room within the format to extend, and also because of the strong support they receive from the top and bottom lines of the format itself. However, vertical elements in the horizontal format appear more static or without movement, as their motion is controlled in such a small vertical space. Because they represent a strong contrast or difference to the rectilinear or straight line horizontal format, diagonal and curving movements will appear more aggressive and active overall. In this example, Beach Scene by Edward Degas, horizontal lines appear powerful and they accentuate the expansive nature of a horizontal format. Vertical elements add depth, while curvilinear and diagonal lines add visual contrast and energy. Vertical format is a prolonged rectangle in a vertical direction and is sometimes referred to as portrait format. Much like a portrait, the vertical format is indicative of energy, uprightness, and attention. For this reason, one of the strongest ideas associated with the vertical format is building, stacking, or defying gravity. For example, if we want to build a skyscraper, gravity dictates that we must first invest power to move in a vertical direction. Because vertical movement goes against the natural law of gravity, we also tend to associate it with opposition or even rebellion. Consequently, one of the greatest strengths of the vertical format is its power and ability to show movement. The vertical format stands much taller than other formats, and yet it has a smaller base of support. For this reason, the potential weakness of this format is that it can sometimes appear to be unstable or unbalanced. The visual movement in a vertical format is unique in that objects in the vertical space have a tendency to rise or sink. Vertical elements within this format are powerful, and when elements are directed upward or placed above the top third of the format, they will appear to lift upward toward the top of the format. However, objects near the bottom of the format tend to stay anchored stubbornly to the bottom. Because of their lack of space to move, horizontal line movements can appear static, while the contrast of diagonal and curving movements within the format may appear to be more active. Georgia O'Keeffe makes a bold statement in this vertical format with her expressive depiction of a New York skyline. Strong vertical lines, coupled with powerful vertical format, convey a dynamic energy. Horizontal lines create contrast and structure, while the presence of diagonal light beams increases the activity in the composition. A square format is equal distance both vertically and horizontally. The square format has strong associations with things that are masculine, modern, and dignified. Because of its equal sides, the square format is perceived as extremely stable and exact. In addition, the square format has 4 perfect corners which direct the eye to a commanding center focal point. Although the strong center focus in the square is considered a strength, it is also a potential weakness, allowing viewers to become fixated on the center of the format alone. The intense focal point in the center of the square format pushes the eye powerfully to the center. Horizontal and vertical elements appear very similar to the equal sides of the square format and tend to be more static, while diagonal and curving movements appear more forceful and active because they show a stronger contrast to the surrounding format. In this stirring self-portrait, German artist Freud utilizes the intense focal point in the square format to draw the eye of the viewer directly to the place of emphasis on the central figure. Slight vertical and horizontal elements isolate the viewer's attention even further, while diagonal and curvilinear lines increase the overall intensity of this expressive portrait. In a circle format, all points on the perimeter are equal distance from the center point. The oval format, although elongated, shares similar format characteristics as the perfect circle. The continuous, curvilinear perimeter of the circle or oval format gives it a strong association with those things which are delicate, feminine, and soft. Rectilinear or straight lines can sometimes suggest things that are man-made or technical. Because there are no rectilinear lines present in the circle format, it is also associated with things which are natural and organic. Because all points on its perimeter reflect the center, the strength of the circle format is its ability to appear centered and complete. However, the self-contained circle may also be perceived as isolated and at times free-floating because it lacks the solid flat base found in previous format types we have discussed. Because the circle format lacks corners of intersection, strong visual interest can be found at the center of the circle and around its perimeter, as all points direct the eye toward these 2 areas. Horizontal and vertical and diagonal elements appear more powerful in this format as they represent a direct contrast or difference to the curvilinear format. Conversely, any curvilinear movements that may appear in this format tend to be more static due to their sameness. The centered focal point and perimeter strength found in the circle format provide a beautiful environment for this depiction of the Holy Family by Michelangelo. Strong horizontal and vertical lines provide energy and power in the circle format, while diagonal and curvilinear elements provide a more contained and subtle form of movement. Each format has a set of unique characteristics which constitute the starting point of every new design. Design begins with format. I hope you have enjoyed our discussion on format and that you would now be able to use it more effectively and selectively in your own design work.